One of the very first things we do when we meet with a couple is try to reprogram them and eliminate or try to get them to forget about all the things that they think that they know about divorce, especially when it comes to the parenting time. The court term for that is visitation. And the reason that we do that is we have found that once a couple lets go of some of their perceptions of what visitation is and what is best, and they're open to a world where they can customize and can control an agreement and the building of that agreement, we have found that those agreements are 10 times better. They are better for the child, better for the parents. They don't need to go back and be modified every 5 years with court intervention, which is the average number of times that couples end up back in court after their divorce. And ultimately, it allows you to have your life back and you're not stuck to a really rigid plan that never works. So this idea of customizing a parenting agreement, questions need to be asked. Questions like, where do you live? What's your work schedule? What's the age of the child? And other questions need to be addressed, like what is ultimately going to be in the best interest of the child. I love to ask this question to couples that come in, and I sometimes end up even setting them up a little bit when I ask this question. And I will say, what do you feel is best? And they'll outline. I believe that the child should come with me on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. They should go with their father on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and we should pick up at 5 o'clock and drop off at 7, whatever they say. Doesn't matter what they say. I respond with, are you 100% sure that that is in their best interest? Now, people will most of the time say, yes, I'm 100% sure. And my response to them is, how can you be sure? You haven't done it yet. And once I get somebody to let their guard down and acknowledge that of all the people on the planet, the one that knows their child the best is them. Not a divorce mediator, not a judge, not a custody evaluator or a child psychologist. Parents kind of just get to know their kids. If they will be honest with that knowledge, then they should also know that they don't know what's in their best interest or if that plan's going to work unless they have some data. And that data means experimenting. If you forget every other thing that you watch, remember the importance of looking at your parenting agreement as an experiment that you have the right to modify as often as you need to modify it. That you can absolutely experiment with parenting plans that both of you agree on, and then put some boundaries and some statements in there that say, this is what we will use to determine whether or not this experiment is working. Is our child doing okay in school? Is our child happy? Are they getting enough sleep? How is it working for us? How's it working for our work schedules? All of these things, an experienced mediator will help you to articulate and put into your agreement so that you can define what those experiments will look like and define the times of when it's time to try another experiment. We have found judges love these agreements. They stand the test of time because life changes. Your kids have different needs at different ages. Your lives are going to go on. The job that you have now may not be the same job you have in 5 years, and it won't be the same schedule. You'll note that even in the next year, there will be big changes. Your children have a certain life while they're going to school, and they have a different life during the summer months. According to the way the courts decide things, they don't account for those changes. And you're stuck with a rigid plan that's broken, and it sets you up for failure right off the bat. Understand that you can customize your agreement and that you can experiment, and that it does require the help of somebody that knows how to put this type of an agreement together. If you attempt to do it yourself, you're guaranteed failure, just as if you have a rigid plan. Don't take a shortcut here. Tell your mediator that you want to experiment with customizing your own parenting time agreement, and you will find that it is easier than you think, and that it's going to relieve a lot of the anxiety and the stress that you're having. It's the thing that keeps you up at night the most, probably, and it's the thing you think about before you go to bed, and you worry about the effect that this divorce is going to have on your kids and the amount of time that you're going to be able to have with them. If you will put some faith in what I've just said, that stress can be alleviated fairly quickly.